So I welcome you all in the sixth week of this Principle of Construction Management course. My name is Pranam Mahajan. I am your TA of the course. Let me share my screen first. I hope the screen is visible to everyone. So let's start the class. So this is your sixth week for the Principle of Construction Management course. So what you will do in these weeks, you will solve the problems related to what you have covered during that current week. So this is your problem solving session. I am your TA for this course. My name is Pranam Mahajan. I am a PMRF scholar in Department of Civil Engineering from IIT Madras. So till now, what we have covered. So we previous week we have seen how project controlling was done. So for that, we have seen how crashing of activities is carried out, in which we have considered the critical path, which is the longest path of the project, but it is the minimum time that is required to complete that project. So, based upon the amount of resources available and the time leveling that is required, so we crash various activities of the project of the critical path so that the cost of the project should be brought to an optimum level and the total duration of the project should be decreased. So this is what we have covered till fifth week, and what we will do start now is related to safety regarding a project. So if you have seen this videos for this week, so what we currently observe that safety for a project is also one of the key factor that should be taken into account during the planning as well as during the operation of the project. So each project may suffer very huge losses, not in case of monetary value, but also in case of man lives, which will cause great damage to their project working during its life cycle. So while working at a construction site, a worker is exposed to many safety factors and hazards, like when you can see if, when you are a carpenter who erects some framework and it is exposed to fall hazards while climbing the formwork. So that time that may happen that the formwork might got broken from that some place and he might have fallen from a huge height. There are many incidents throughout the India that you have seen that a work electrician that who is working on the pole suddenly got electric shock and he has fallen from a huge height from during the repair of the electric work that is required to done on that pole. So this safety is very much important that is needed to be considered during the project. So the worker is at a risk of being struck by falling object. Sometimes if you are moving below a building and some big a chunk of stone that fall from certain height and hit your head, you also will get hurt either you are working on that project or not. So workers moving at site that come across electrical wires for temporary illumination purpose, they also might get shot when the wires are not properly sealed off. So you can see from the pictures also the hazards that happen in which one floor got broken, and after one floor uh, got broken, various floors that are nearby to that they also got broken due to one floor which got broken. So another thing you can see is the collapse of the deck slab between the two piers. That may you have seen that various bridges all over the India are falling. So during that, some casualties might happen. So maybe they are related to that project or not, but the safety for the persons that who are involved in that project should be considered into account while carrying out that particular work. So what is hazard? So hazard is something which has a potential to cause any accident or an injury. Example like heavy overburden on the edge of the excavation is also a hazard. So that what happens if you are excavating you are digging a pit, and you are more on the worker who is digging that pit is also in there inside the pit, and due to the heavy load, all the mud that is present outside the pit might that got collapse, and the worker might get trapped inside that pit. So for that, proper shoring must be done on the side while performing such activities, so that the risk to the life of that person who is digging that pit should be minimized. So the risk is the likelihood that a hazard will result in an accident. So this risk should be minimized, so that this hazard that will in turn lead to an accident should be removed. So what is an accident? So accident is an event which is unplanned, undesired, unexpected, and uncontrolled, which may or may not result in the damage to the property or injury to the person, or both in case of an employment. So these four use may be taken into account for defining an any accidental event, that is unplanned event, undesired event, unexpected event, and an uncontrolled event. So these all four use defines that how an accident could occur. So, talking about its evolution of the safety, so how it got started. So, in 1966, National Safety Council was set up, and on March 4 of every year, we celebrate it as a National Safety Day. So, after 40 years, on August 1996, sorry, 30 years, Lok Sabha passed a workers' bill to regulate the work condition on all construction site. Then in 1998, the central rules on building and other construction workers also came, that you are, I think you usually came into know like BOSA. So if you know certain thing about BOSA, then this is the same thing that also came into existence. Various state government are in stages of framing it's their own rules, because each and every area has different geological as well as the climatic conditions. So based upon the type of conditions that are available in each and every area, so it is the duty of the state government to mandate certain rules that should be carried out, so that an activity or an project should be done in a smooth manner. So you can see from the graph that is provided here that in 1970, the frequency of occurrence of an event, or the frequency of occurrence of an accident in construction industry is around 16, and it reduces to 2 as the time passes. So from 1970 to 2000, the value decreased from 16 here to 2 in 2000 year. Okay, so what are the various factors that occurs during the that contribute to the accidents? So one is fall from an elevation. So fall from an elevation is like a worker is working on some platform and he might got fallen. So this fall is usually contribute to the 33% of the accidents that have occurred. Another thing is electrical shocks. Third is struck by an incident. Fourth is caught in between incidents. And miscellaneous activities are also contributing to the causes of accidents that are happening in the construction sites. So, out of them, these first three contribute to around 72% of the incidents that are occurring. So, even if we try to reduce only three causes of these accidents, we are eliminating most of the accidents that are occurring in the site. So from 1998 to 1999 also, some survey was carried out to determine what are the causes of the accidents. So again, fall from heights contributing to the 35%, from slip and falls it is contributing to 21%, then by falling objects 18%, then by lifting or lifting, handling, and carrying object contribute to 10%, and others miscellaneous causes that also contribute to the 16%. Okay, so these will tell you that if you try to reduce only few factors, then also 90% of your accidents at various sites can be reduced. Another thing is regarding to the how the number of the man hours that are working in the site, that will are also causing the incidents. So as we see that the number of man hours that are working on the site, what you can see, they are increasing as the number of years are increasing. However, the frequency rate over which the accidents is happening, that are decreasing year by year. So because of the rules, some safety precautions that we need to take at the site, based upon that, these uh, casualties can be reduced with time, and if they are properly added at the site, then you can minimize to even 2 to 3%. So another thing also you can see from the figure, that the percentage of falls, as we say that percentage of falls also contribute to a major part for the risk of the life of the worker that is involved. So close to 40% of the total incident for to total fall accidents in projects involving a height of less than 10 meters. So this you can see when when the height of the building is less than 10 meter, so 40% of the accidents occur at that place. So as the height of the building increases, your accidents related to falls is decreasing. That is because people are also getting afraid by large heights, and they adhere to the safety precaution that are required. However, when the height is very small, like you can say less than 10 meters, they say that that we don't require such precaution. We can work in that environment also without some safety equipments. So that negligence will lead to accidents at various sites. So if you see the pie chart, that will tell you that victim was at fault contributes to the 53% for the causes of the accident. That means the negligence of the worker that are involved in the site, that is causing the 55% of the accidents. Second is 25% due to the unsafe conditions that are available in the site. Nine nine is due to both of them, that is unsafe condition and the victim at fault. And 7% is due to unexpected events that may occur in the site, and 6% contribute because of the co-workers that are involved. So these causes of accidents. So in this we can see that 53% is the large number, and if we accumulate 53% and 25%, so 78% accidents are occurring due to only two factors. One is the victim who is at the fault, and another is due to unsafe conditions. So if you further divide that, when the victim is at fault, so three major causes are came into observation. One is overconfidence or carelessness of the victim, that is contributing to the 33% of the accidents. Another thing is the wrong person for the job. That means you have assigned the person who is not capable of doing that job on the site, and he may involve into certain activities that may leads to his negligence and causing the death of that individual. Another is not 33% is due to not adherence to the personal protection equipments. So 33% for the negligence of the worker, 33% for not wearing the personal protection equipment, and 34% is because of the wrong person who is employed at that particular job. So this is regarding the victims who are at the fault. Now we will further break up regarding the fall from the height. So for the fall from the height, 32% contribute to not having the handrails that they are in the site. 25% contribute to not having the proper working platform. 18% contribute to having the lack of supervision on the site. 17% due to poor housekeeping, and 8% due to unprotected openings. So these are the different types of accidents that may happen due to fall from heights. So for the non-adherence of the personal protection equipment, you can see that 18% accidents are occurring due to non-wearable or non-wearing of the helmets. 42% are occurring because of not using the safety belts in the site, and 40 to 40% are occurring when they are not even wearing the safety belt that is required to wear at the particular site. Okay, so as per the survey which was conducted by the National Sample Survey in 1999 to 2000, it is observed that the about 17.62 million building and other construction workers are there in India. So besides large companies employing millions of workers, there are equally large number of self-employed individuals that are engaged in the actual construction work and allied activities like washing, painting, plumbing, mechanical fixing of mechanical or electrical equipment. So these all are interrelated to each of them, and they may cause the problems related to accidents. So the various causes of accidents that may happen in the sites are first due to unsafe act by the victim. So how unsafe act by victim can be contributed? They can be non-wearing of the PPE kit due to the negligence of the worker at the site, and many other factors that we have discussed in the previous slide. Second is the unsafe act by the co-workers. So sometimes, because of the negligence of the co-worker, you are the one who will fall into the trap of the accident. Third is the unsafe conditions created by the worker. That means not having proper platform, handrails, safety jackets, and safe proper anchoring of the safety belts. So these are the conditions that are created by the worker on his own. Fourth is unsafe conditions. So unsafe conditions that will also contribute to the cause of accident, and the combination of all the different permutation and combination of the above factors that we have discussed. So how the dimensions of construction safety is defined? So these are provided based upon the cost, productivity, human sufferings, what are the statutory problems at the site, then quality of work, and the reputation of the industry in the for carrying out that particular work. So if you see that how the percentage of the accidents are carried out, so you can say that the 88% of the accidents are due to the unsafe act by the persons who are involved at the site. 10% is due to the physical or the mental condition, mechanical condition of the equipments or the labors that are involved at the site, and 2% due to the natural calamities. So if we try to remove all these, uh, because natural calamities we can't reduce, so only the first two are contributing to the 98% of the total accidents that are occurring at the sites. So if we try to remove even first two clauses, so that means 98% of the accidents at the sites can be uh, removed. So how you define the these accidents? So one is the near miss. So how you define a near miss? So a near miss is a dangerous, unpleasant situation from which someone just manages to escape. This includes a potentially hazardous condition and also known as near hit or close stall. So when a person just manages to escape from an accident, that we call it as a near miss. So next is what is incident. So any disruption in the normal or smooth flow of work that involves in an injury, property loss, damage equipment, work stoppage, or near miss, that each and every occurrence is considered to be an incident. Even this near miss is also considered to be an incident. You can see near miss is also an incident. Any non regular activity that is happening at the site, we consider it to be an incident. Next is what is accident. So accident is an unplanned, unforeseen event, like I told you earlier, that the four use that causes or the potential to cause the damage, injury, loss of life to the property will contribute to the accident. Another is what is hazard. So hazard is an unsafe physical condition that could lead to an injury, accident, or a loss. So it may exist in dormant, armed, or active stage. So hazard is the condition, and if that condition prevails, that will result in an accident. Okay, so let's talk about few more definitions. So what is risk? So risk is the potential for loss resulting from a given activity, action, or any inaction. Next is what are recordable injuries. So how you quantify that what are major, minors, based upon what criteria you record all of these injuries. So injuries are generally recorded for insurance, analysis, and documentation purposes. So depending upon the severity, injuries could be either medical injury or it is days away, restricted and transferred injury. That is DART injury. So that means in you are moving away from the site because of certain incident that had happened on the site. So that is also contribute to the recordable injuries. So for that, what is reportable accident? So any injury that is causing disablement extending 48 hours beyond the day or the shift in which the accident has happened, that is considered to be an reportable accident. So that means whenever you have to report an accident at the site, so when the person who is working at that particular shift, if he remains missing for more than 48 hours, then only it is said to be a reportable accident. And now we have to decide what is major and minor in this accident. So how we define? So when he is absent in that particular work up to 20 days, then we define it to be a minor accident. However, when he is exceeding the 20 days, that is from 21 days to number of days he is recovering, so it is considered to be a major accident. Okay. Now, unknown acts, not facts, it is acts. So unknown, unsafe acts. So an unsafe act is an act of doing something that has the potential to cause injury, loss, or a serious accident. That means how you define them. That you are working in a chemical industry and you got toxic you got toxic effects due to that working at the site. Second is you are operating a particular equipment but you are not having proper training for doing that. Third is you are not using personal protection equipment that is provided to you to perform certain activities at the site. So that is also contribute to the unsafe act. Okay. So these are the few definition that we have covered. So another is also what is unsafe condition. So an unsafe condition is the one in which the physical layout of the work location and the status of tools, equipment, or material are in violation of contemporary safety standards. So that means whenever you are not working as per the safety standards that are required to be performed in a particular area, for required for particular equipment, required for particular material to be used. So when you are not adhering to that particular instruction that are provided, so that means you are working in an unsafe conditions. So for that, Hendrik has given his theory regarding that. So for that, we are having Hendrik's axioms of industrial safety, or you can say Hendrik's theory of industrial safety. So what he has told that injuries result as a series of preceding factors. So injuries happens due to the series of preceding factors. Accidents occur as a result of physical hazard or an unsafe act. So that I have already told you that hazard is a condition. If that prevails, accident will occur. So most accidents are the result of the unsafe behavior. So you should remember this, that accidents always happens due to the unsafe behavior. Like if you are driving the two wheeler on the road and you are not wearing the helmet, so it is the responsibility of you only if you met with accident and got injured during that time, that if you have worn the helmet at that particular incident, you might have mitigated the injuries that might occur to you during that time. So unsafe behavior results in the accident either at site or either at the normal life of the particular individual. So unsafe acts and hazards do not always result in the immediate accidents or and injuries. Okay, so understanding why people commit unsafe acts helps to establish guidelines for corrective actions. So it is the responsibility of the safety engineers to look forward that why the persons that are who are involved at particular site, why they are not properly adhering to the safety rules that are provided to them for that particular work. So either the personal protection equipment is hampering the work that is required to be carried out, or that might be irritating them during doing that particular work, or what are the other factors that the labor or the worker who is working at that site is not following the safety guidelines that are required to be carried out. So the severity of an injury is largely fortuitous, and the accident cause is preventable. So management should assume some safety responsibilities. So the best accident prevention techniques are analogous to the best quality or productivity techniques. So as best your accident prevention techniques are there, so that means as best quality or the productivity of the work that is required to be carried out at a particular site can be done. So the supervisor is the key person in preventing the industrial accidents, or you can say that the safety engineer who is involved at particular site is the key person who is responsible for preventing such industrial accidents. So cost of these accidents includes both direct cost as well as the indirect cost. Okay, that we will see later. So first is the you can see also from the figure that there is a Hendrick injury pyramid, which graphically represents the relative number of injuries based upon the severity. So there are 300 incidents in which near misses happens. So like we are driving in a road, so almost every day a person is having a near miss for having an accident. So that is contributing to the near miss of an event. Then the minor injuries that you happen in once in 6 months while riding a bike, or once in an year if you are a pro rider, and one major injury that happened once in a 20 year. So this is what Hendrick pyramid tells you, that near incidents are very common. That means almost 300 events are occurring in a site, and minor injuries, you can say, they are very less compared to, they are almost one tenth of the near miss events, and they are contributing to almost 29 in value, and one major injury that is happening. So this is a pyramid triangle for the injury that is happening in the site is provided to you. Now talking about some definitions regarding the calculations. So first is the frequency rate. So frequency rate is the ratio of number of lost time injuries divided by man hours word, will tell you what is the frequency rate of accident at that particular site. Multiply by 1 million. Another thing, how also you can report, that is the number of reportable lost time injuries. So here you have a reportable extra number of reportable lost time injuries divided by man hours worked in millions. Okay, so it is so note is provided to you that lost time injury is the one in which injury requires little medical attention, and the worker returns to the work very quickly. So a reportable lost time injury is the one in which the worker absentees for more than 80 for 48 hours, that is a clear 2 days after the accident has happened, leaving the day of the accident, and is supposed to be reported to the appropriate authority. So this is what is defining you regarding lost time injury and the reportable lost time injury. So we can define frequency rate based upon lost time also, and also reportable lost time injury also. Another is fatality rate. Fatality is number of fatal injuries happen divided by number of man hours worked in million. Okay. Third is severity rate. So severity rate is the man days lost due to lost time injuries divided by man hours worked. So you can see there is some difference between frequency rate and severity rate, in which you can see severity rate is the man days lost due to lost time injury, whereas it is the number of lost time injuries that has happened. Okay, so that is telling you the difference between the frequency rate. So in frequency, it is number, and in severity rate, it is the number of man days that are lost divided by number of man hours worked. Okay, so same thing here also, depending upon lost time injury as well as the reportable lost time injury. So, it's for example, if an accident has occurred in leading to the death of the worker, the corresponding lost time is equivalent to 6,000 man days. So, if a worker is died at a particular site, so it is equivalent to loss of 6,000 man days. So, code specifies that the lost time corresponding to the loss of one thumb is equivalent to 1,800 man days. Loss of one eye is equivalent to 2,400 man days, and so on. So the lost time prescribed corresponding to the fatality and other types of disablement varies across various countries. So for like in Japanese code, it is mentioned that the lost time due to the fatality of a person is around 7,500 man days, whereas we have considered it to be 6,000 man days. Okay. Now, what is incident rate? So, incident rate is defined as the ratio of injuries to the number of persons during the period under review. So it is expressed as the number of injuries per 1000 persons involved. Okay. So, how the incident rate is defined? So, you can say that it is the number of lost time injuries divided by the number of average number of persons that are employed multiplied by 100 will give you the incident rate. However, reportable lost time injury incident rate can be defined by the number of reportable lost time injuries divided by average number of persons that are involved multiplied by 100 will give you the reportable lost time injury incident rate. Another is workman's compensation claim frequency index. So that is the number of workman compensation claims divided by total number of man hours multiplied by uh, 200,000. Okay. So accident in industry can occur due to uh, not having proper housekeeping, having excavation at a particular site. It is can be occurring due to the working at heights that includes ladders, scaffolds, and means any journal trains you can say, and any journal topic that will relate to the working at heights. Fourth is electrical equipments, and fifth is lifting and rigging. Okay, so if we talk about the housekeeping, so a poor housekeeping is the major cause of falls and slip on a particular construction site. So the work area should always be tidy, and good housekeeping prevents the accident. A clear work site is a safe work site, and we should not leave sharp objects lying around, as this can cause accidents during the operation of the activities. So we have to ensure that proper practice in disposing of construction waste, keeping tools properly, and maintaining proper supervision should be employed at particular sites. So from the figure, you can see here that in this, we can see that this is the wrong way of keeping the tools and equipments at particular sites, and you can say that this is the right way of keeping tools and equipments for the particular site. Okay, so this is also another way of not keeping at proper intervals, or at good utilizing good housekeeping work. And this is the right way of keeping the equipments at particular site, because this may lead to the fall of the object. And here the objects are properly settled, and they will not fall during the operational of the particular activities. Another is excavations. So excavation poses a threat due to the collapse of the sites, fall into the excavated areas, and danger to the nearby areas. So the worker that is involved in carrying out that particular excavation work, he may got trapped inside the pit, and this will pose the threat to the life of that particular individual. So many incidents have occurred in the India also and throughout the world, wherein many people got stuck inside tunnels, pits during their working inside them, and many authorities also came into rescue for them. Okay, so the excavation also poses threat and may cause accident uh, for the persons that who are involved in carrying out such activities. Another is height problem. So height problem could occur due to the use of ladders. So ladders should be used for access for only a limited period of work. They may cause accident if they are not properly fitted, not properly secured, and when stepped upon with a greasy substance. So you can see here that what is the right way to the use of a ladder and what is the wrong way to use a ladder. So in right way, you can see that that it is properly fitted at the bottom. First, second is it is properly secured, and he's the person who is working on that particular object. He's also facing the ladder on in the same direction. Another thing, you can see that there is no greasy substance here, and here you can see some greasy substance at the bottom, which may lead to the slip of the ladder and resulting in the fall of the person who is working at that wall. Okay, so it is up to the worker who is involved at particular site to have a look that how he can minimize such errors, and which will lead to the minimize of such accident events to occur at any particular site. So scaffolding is also one equipment that is utilized to work at high heights. So cause of accidents for scaffolding is due to the collapse of scaffold, fall from scaffold, fall of materials from the scaffolds. So so what preventive measures to be taken into account? So scaffold should be erected, modified, and dismantled by the competent persons. So there should be some skilled persons should be involved to carry out such activities, and these scaffolding should be erected on a firm ground with a sole plate and base plate with a safe means of access and egress. Okay, so scaffolding should be fully planned platform with minimum width of 600 mm and should be tied in the structures. So all the platform should have guardrail and toe board and bracing on all the four sides. Okay, so this is the so from the figure we can see that what is the right way to use the scaffolding at any particular site. So in this you can see you are having proper bracing at regular intervals. So they have provided the width that is adhering to the minimum width that is required. Then they are having the proper sole plate as well as the base plate at the bottom. So all these factors needed to be considered to prevent the person from falling due to the scaffolding collapse as well as the fall of materials during the construction. So you can see one figure which is telling you the hierarchy of fall protection. So here we can see that first a person is involved in the hazard elimination. Second person is involved in providing the passive fall protection. Third component that is involved is pertaining to fall resistant systems. Okay. Fourth person that is involved is fall arrest system, and fifth person is controlling all such activities that is to be carried out to reduce the accidents due to fall from various heights. Okay. So what is fall arrest system? So from the figure, you can see that from from bungee rope, the person will be attached to the jacket, and he will be doing its work for the whole time with the hood that is installed to its back, so that he might not fall from the large height. So from the figure also, you can see that the person who is working on the train, so how he has installed himself, and how he has put his jacket, which is attached to the train by some hook. So knowing the procedure when working at heights could be life saving. Okay, so there are few diagrams that helps you to visualize how that different occurrences would helps you to remove and mitigate accidents from various sides. So first figure tells you that how wires are or pipes are put at the bottom during the working of an activity. So second also you can see how cluttered all the things are carried out at the site. So these all activities, or you can say poor housekeeping, to cause accident at various sites. Whereas if you keep all the material at sites and provide a pathway for the moving of the object as well as the equipment, that will result in mitigating the accidents at various sites. Here also you can see that the area they are working, they have protected themselves, and the materials they have kept at the side, which is covered by some cloth, not cluttered in the whole area. So these such small events will help you in reducing the accidents at sites. Another thing you can see here is the excavation. So if you are doing some excavation work, you can see here that the person who is doing the excavation is using some ladder. So this ladder is around some 3 feet above the total height of the work that is involved. Okay. Another thing you can see, the proper bracings or ties are provided at regular intervals when excavation is carried out. Okay. So when working at high areas, you can see that person is using the safety ropes to help him uh, to carry out the work at large heights, and simultaneously he's protecting himself by anchoring to that particular safety belt that is provided to him. Okay. Fourth one, you can see that whenever you are using a ladder, you should use the ladder up to the area you can use. Okay, so from figure one, you can see that how easily he is using that ladder and how he is embellishing himself on that particular ladder, which may cause fall of the person from large height. Another figure, you can see that how you can use the ladder for carrying out that particular work. That means whenever you have to do the work, you have to provide the ladder in the direction that the work is to be required to be carried out. In this, you can see that the person himself is putting the weight on the ladder so that he can do the work properly. Whereas in this case, if he gets imbalance at that particular point, he might get fall from that particular height. Okay. Another thing you can see that how the safety belts the person is using will help him to reduce the fall and reduce the accidents at the site. So you can see the two hinges that are rollers that are provided at a certain height, and he is by pulley, he is fixing himself, and how he is able to resist a clearance of 1 meter even if he falls from certain heights. Okay, so all these fixtures needed to be taken into account while carrying out the work at particular sites. Another thing you can see is the use of the safety nets on the outside of the building. So how these safety nets will help? So whenever a person who is moving outside of the building, so sometimes what happens that some of the objects might get fallen off due to negligence or due to some unforeseen events. So that might not hurt the who is the to the person who is moving outside that area. For that, safety nets are provided to protect the outside people from the inside, or to provide an isolated area so to carry out that particular work. So for the bars also you can see that at the top of the bars some caps are needed to be provided so that the person who are doing work at that sites could reduce the accidents carried out by that such reinforcement. So when you are working on some confined spaces, so what preventive measures that are required to be taken into account? So you can see what is, so first we will define what is confined space. So confined space is the one which is having a limited access or egress when subjected to hazards, deficiency of oxygen, unflammable gases or substance or dust. So its examples would be the pipe, vessels, tanks, silos, trenches, debts. Okay. So what preventive actions you can take here? So that take into account its appropriate permit, check at entry, access, and the ventilation that is required. Second is you have to check the proper level of oxygen that is available and not carrying some flammable or vapor or toxic gases inside. Third is attribute and supervisor present throughout during the carrying out such activity in such confined places. Fourth is providing proper ventilation and ladder if required. Fifth is use of 24-volt lamp for illumination purpose. Another is display board that will tell you that work in confined spaces carried out. Otherwise, people may might get fallen off in such small traps, leading to the death of the individual. Another is power tools used in the confined space must be isolated and provided with proper earthing. Another is presence of firefighting equipments and rescue teams alert when such works are to be carried out. And next is providing a personal protection equipments. So for dealing with uh, hot words, so what kinds of hazards they are meeting? So they are meeting heat, electric hazards, cutting and welding and radiation. So from the figure you can see when you are laying the bituminous roads, you can see that how much heat this person's feet is able to carry out during laying of bitumen over the road surface. Another thing you can see from the figure that how much heat is coming out when a person is doing fabrication work at the site. So what preventive actions that are required? So one is you have to check area to prevent fire. You have to check gas cylinders and apparatus for leak. You have to check fire hazards to prevent fire. Another thing is you have to ensure presence of operator and fire extinguisher. And when welding is to be carried out, be sure that mast and barricade in the area is properly equipped. So what? So construction in construction site is inherently a dangerous place with high risk of hazards that may occur at that particular sites. So accidents at the construction sites are the unforeseen events that have several implications. So expenditure of resources on account of accidents is completely avoidable. So includes loss of life, property, with obvious delays in the construction process. So financial losses are perhaps only a minor part compared to the indirect as well as the intangible losses and the sufferings to victim that may occur. So there are two sides of a coin when cost of accidents is discussed. First is cost incurred when such accident happens. Second is what is the cost that is incurred to prevent such accidents. So final is decision is based upon the balance of the above. Okay. So how the cost accidents are calculated. So cost associated with accidents can be following. One is direct cost as well as the indirect cost. So direct cost takes so the cost uh, that occur directly as the result of accident and include medical cost and compensation that will include in direct cost. Another is indirect cost. So indirect costs are the costs that are less obvious but are a direct consequence of an accident. So they are the hidden, difficult to quantify, and the possible are incurred over a large period of the time. So this you can see from the diagram that accident cost contains two components. One is the cost to employee or worker. Second is cost to employer. So they also have direct as well as indirect components involved. So direct cost to employer takes into account loss of property, hospitalization charges, compensation charges, salary payment for unperformed work, cost of investigation, and the irreplaceablement of the machinery. So these are the direct costs that occur to the employer. Now, what are the indirect costs to the employer? So they are the pain and the sufferings, time lost by the injured worker, lost time by the fellow workers, loss in the earning power because of the injured worker, cost of new or replacement employee, cost to train the new employee, cost of delays, loss of production, failure to meet the demands, overhead cost, loss of reputation, damage to equipment. So all of these are the direct as well as the indirect costs for the employer. So how are the prevention, accident costs, and safety benefits are related? So there is a positive relationship between the prevention cost and the benefits from the preventive measures. So the cost of accidents is inversely related to the cost of prevention. So you can see from the figure that the cost of the accidents are inversely related to the cost of prevention. Okay, as more resources are devoted to prevention and the result cost of accident decreases. So similar inverse relationship exists between accident cost and benefit working for the safety. So you can see from the figure. So as the benefits, so benefits increases as the prevention cost increases. Okay. So accident cost decreases with increase in the prevention cost and benefits increases with increase in the prevention cost. Okay. So there are certain responsibilities of the safety worker also who is employed in that particular work. So how you define a safety worker? So a construction safety worker is appointed at the head of the safety team to ensure the compliance with the established policies and the safety regulations. So he or she may take additional roles, responsibility, but his main objective is to help in creating the safer construction sites. So the construction safety officers, they are supposed to follow the all the rules and regulations that are provided in various safety manuals. One is OSHA. Okay. So what are the responsibilities of the safety officer? So it first is to identify the probable cause of the accidents. Second is at regular intervals carrying out uh, safety campaigns. Third is periodically having meeting with all the workers who are involved in carrying out such activities. Fourth is circulation of the minutes of the meetings to the workers in their own language so that they will get familiar with the threats that are involved in carrying out such activities. Fourth is next is to bring hazard potential to the no nature or to the notice of the employer. Next is to advise the workers for regarding effective control of injuries. Then to check and evaluate the effectiveness of the action. Next is to carry out safety inspections of the building and to investigate the cases of the occupational disease that is occurring at different sites. So this is the hierarchy of the safety personnel that are involved in the site. So first is so there are different regions. One is safety site safety coordinator. So he will be handling all the site management uh, process that are happening at different levels. So after a certain time, he will come into the regional management team, and then he will take into account as a regional safety coordinator or as a safety coordinator based upon the job site or as a safety coordinator based upon the overseas project. Okay, based upon the type of project available for that particular company. Then this regional management will report to the safety coordinator, and then he will coordinate to the safety senior vice president, who is uh, resident at the headquarters of the company. So this is the career progression of the safety officer who is involved. So management of the so how this management of the safety to be done. So this management can be done by providing trophy safety trophy scheme. That means if you are dividing a particular group of individual into different work, so you have to see that how many persons are doing the work in adherence to the safety regulations. So at regular intervals, you have to give them, on yearly basis for that particular team, you have to give them the trophy so that they will get motivated and boost about that they are properly utilizing all that safety guidelines that are provided to them. Another thing that will happen that other teams will also get pushed in so that they will also follow proper rules so that they will also win the trophy in the next coming year. Second is giving merit certificates for achieving a milestone, that is a million man hours are completed without having any injury at particular site. Third is merit certificate for achieving zero accident rate during an year. And fourth is safety norm violation memo. So whenever a person who is not following the proper guidelines, so a memo is to be issued to them. Other steps that would be taken into account is the evaluation of the safety performance of the subcontractors, safety campaigns, safety performance monitoring, and the personal protective equipment's efficiency. Okay, so these all things are needed to be taken into account so that the safety at a particular site will be ensured. However, there are many things that are also there, so that we'll cover in the next coming week. So let's solve few problems related to what you have covered. Uh, so first question is the table shows you an yearly data of the number of accidents and its causes. Okay. So for the 3 years, data is given to you, and you have to find the percentage of accidents caused by collapse of the structure from the year of 2011 to 2013. So these are all small basic questions. They are not having some technical background. You just have to solve them based upon your mathematical knowledge. So percentage of accidents, how can it be calculated? So from the collapse of structure, it is 15 plus 16 plus 3 divided by all the three sum of 3. So I think if you do that, so it will come out as 297. That means it is 34 divided by 297, and it will give you a value of 11.44%. Okay. So for this week, you are solving only a few basic problems. In the next week, we will see that whether the problems are any technical thing will come into picture or not. Okay. So for the same question, for the year 2012 and 13, find the ratio of accidents that are happened due to electrocution and accidents that has happened due to hitting by objects. So how you will do that? You have to just take the ratio of all the two events. So first is 12 plus 6, 18, and here 15 plus 14. Okay. So the ratio of accidents, that will be 12 plus 6 and 15 plus 14. 12 plus 6 divided by 15 plus 14, that will be equal to 18 upon 29, and it will be equal to 0.62. Okay. So these are the small examples or small questions that you should do for this current week, because safety is like a theoretical knowledge. You should know the basic guidelines that are required to be carrying out such work, and for them, numerical problems are very less. They are just based upon certain definitions that you have read. So, like, we will solve now few problems related to fatality rate, severity rate, and frequency rate. So, if you know the definitions regarding that, you will be able to solve the problems related to safety concerns. Okay, so let's solve the problem related to fatality rate. Okay, so the table gives you the information about a company with details on the man hours worked, accidents, man days lost in a 6 month period, that is from January to June. Okay. Now you have to find the fatality rate of the accident of the company. So fatality rates, that would be equal to total injuries, number of fatal injuries divided by man hours worked multiplied by 10 to the power of 6. Okay. So how many number of fatal injuries are there? 4 plus 3 7 plus 2 9 and plus 1 10. So 10 divided by number of man hours worked. If we calculate, it comes out to be 6.9 into 10 power 6 into 10 power 6. So from this, you will get the value of fatality rate equal to 1.449, and you write it as 1.45. Okay, so it has a fatality rate of 1.45. Now, next question is you have to determine the severity rate of accidents. So, the severity rate is defined as total man days lost divided by man hours worked multiplied by 10 power 6. Okay, if you write it, you will get how many man days which are lost. So, man days which are lost, if you add all of them, you will get 9 plus 2 11, 11 6 17, 17 4 21, 3 24, 1 25. So that would be 2500. Okay, so 2500 divided by 6.9 into 10 power 6 into 10 power 6, that will give you the value of 362.32. Okay, so this is how you will calculate the severity rate. Now next question is frequency rate. So what is frequency rate? So frequency rate is in terms of time. So total lost time injuries divided by man hours word, or you can write total man hours word multiply by 10 power 6. Okay. So how you calculate total lost time injuries? So total lost time injuries, that will take into account lost time due to injuries. So lost time injuries not leading to fatality plus the fatality injuries also. Okay, so that will accumulate these also, these also. Okay, so here what is the total? 6 plus 8, 14 to 16, 16 for 20, 424. So 24 plus 10. So 10 plus 24. So is your total lost time injuries. So your frequency rate will be 24 divided by 6.9 into 10 power 6 into 10 power 6. It will give you a value of 4.927. Okay. So this is what we have covered in this current week. So we have solved few problems also related to frequency rate, severity rate, and fatality rate. So for this, some proper definitions are already given to you. Okay. So what we have covered in this covered current week, we have seen that how the different causes of uh, risk that are involved at that particular site and how we can mitigate them. Okay, what kind of preventive measures that are needed to be taken into sight for carrying out particular work, like good housekeeping and many other things like safety ropes, personal protection equipment, and non-negligence of the worker, non-negligence of the co-worker. So all of these will take into should be taken into account so that some loss to the life as well as loss to the property could be avoided during the construction project at particular site. So if anyone has any doubt, they might have or might can ask right now. I will wait for 2 minutes. Yeah. So this week we have covered related to risk management, or we can say how risk can be reduced at that particular site. So planning, so how planning regarding to risk management could be done at particular site. This discussion will continue in the next week also, and then we will continue to other topic. Okay. So I think by this I will conclude my session. So if anyone has any doubt, they might ask, or we will meet next time. Till then, goodbye. Have a nice day. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, everyone.